with some basic statistics and probability stuff, right? So for that you should read a book called Probability and Statistics for Programmers. It's for complete beginner, so you can get started with some mathematical probability and some data analysis using basic statistics, and then you can go ahead with other advanced books. So we'll talk about more advanced book, and this one is very popular, which is Introduction to Statistical Learning. It's written by a very famous statistician from Stanford University, and the book is free. You can actually go and download it, and it's introductory. And the good thing is that you have hands-on exercises with R programming, so you can actually do a lot of applied stuff. They've given data, they've given the code, R code. You can simply go and run the R code and see the results by yourself. But it's good to have some basic statistical modeling knowledge before you go through this book. So I highly recommend you to read some statistics if you haven't had statistics in your college or in school. Then good to know some basic statistics. It could be simple data analysis such as finding a mean or variance, some basic probability, and some basic things like correlations and linear regression and so on. And then they have also written, the same authors have also written a little more advanced book, which is The Elements of Statistical Learning. It's also free, you can go and download. But the first part, the introductory part, is something that you should read first before reading or before going through this one. And it's more advanced and it's more theoretical as well. And the good thing with this book is that it combines statistical modeling with machine learning. So often people can get confused with how is statistical modeling different from machine learning. So you will get an overview of how they're different, and obviously depending on your test, you will further enhance your knowledge in either of this area, either statistical modeling or machine learning. The next one is the Pattern Recognition and Machine Learning. It's a very popular book. Is by a scientist called Bischoff, who works for Microsoft. He's a fellow there, and it's a very popular book. In fact, it's one of the most popular book in machine learning. So it's also freely downloadable. If you just simply do a Google search, you will get the link. I'm also going to provide all the links in the description section. You can go and visit the web pages, but you can also obviously do a simple Google search and find this book. Machine Learning Yearning is a new book by a very famous person from the field of machine learning, which is Andrew Ng. You can go to his website also, mllearning.org, and you can download some of the. I don't know whether this is already available, but this is a very this is a book from a very popular author, so everyone is looking forward to it. And I guess many of the chapters will be given for free. That's what he has promised. So, and the thing is that Andrew Ng, although he was a professor, he has also worked in many top class tech companies, so he has a lot of applied knowledge, and he always bring that perspective, the applied perspective, to the theory. So it's good for practitioners, I would say, I'm sure. And he's also the he's also the creator of perhaps one of the most famous MOOC for machine learning. So yeah, if we should all go through this book, I would recommend. Data Science for Dummies. So if you're a complete beginner, you have no clue where to what data science is, how to do some data science on the problems that you have in hand, and you don't have much time. So it's good to go through this book. This is simple and meant for beginners. It has plenty of examples, so you can always you know gets your hand dirty with many of these examples and get started with data science with a very little time. So I would recommend this one. R programming for data science. So for data science, you need to learn statistical programming. Okay, and the most famous ones are the R and the Python. You can of course learn other proprietary softwares like SAS or MATLAB or SPSS, but there are limitations with those softwares. So good to have expertise with either Python and R, which are um, free, and there are a lot of things available there. So R programming for data science is something that you can learn R programming, but for data science, because R programming is much broader. So it's used for other things as well. So if you're focused on data science, this book is good. Think Python, like R programming. If you want to learn Python for data science, this one is a good one. Okay, so it's good to learn at least one language perfectly before doing the other one. So either you choose Python or depending on your test. Python Data Science Handbook is very good for beginners. Again, there's lots of examples. You can always go through these examples and do by yourself, so you'll get a good experience, I'm sure. Python machine learning book. This is a book by a PhD student. I'm sure he is now an assistant professor somewhere, but he was a PhD student when he was writing this book. I still remember 2-3 years back, and is quite good actually. I've gone through this book; it's quite good. So I highly recommend you. It's on Python, so yeah, it's also uh, good who are doing machine learning using Python. Yeah, those who are doing R, they can also learn a bit of Python and see how it's different, or rather how it's good to have some different experience, right? So even if you're an R user, I would highly recommend this. There's some domain specific things, like so far we have seen the books which are more introductory, or just to learn what is machine learning, what is data science, what is statistical modeling, and so on. But you also need to learn some domain specific things in order to be good at something. I am not able to list out all the domain specific data science books, but there are few I have listed out here. Maybe if you're working in those areas, you might find it useful. Design of experiment and A/B testing. So these are things people do in marketing analytics, in sales analytics, in retail analytics. Even most of the things that people do in e-commerce has to do with design of experiment or A/B testing. In fact, it's very famous among in all e-commerce companies. Um, so it's also free, so you can download and read. Yeah, so that's interesting. Natural language processing with Python is also a free book, and you can download and if you are working on natural language processing, you will find this book very useful. Data Jujitsu, the art of turning data into product. So this is a book by DJ Patil. He's a very famous famous guy in the data science community. He was head of data science team at LinkedIn, and he became the chief data scientist at US government. In fact, he was the co-author of the article that introduced the word data science and made it so popular. And he's an applied guy. He has worked for many years with tech companies in Silicon Valley. So he brings that perspective, that applied perspective to the theoretical things that we learn from books. So it's not a very technical book, but it's actually talks about how you can use data and data science to build products. Okay, so basically the tech product. So it's a good book for managers, good book for leaders, and even if you are a beginner, it's a good you will be able to relate to the real world. Something that sometimes we cannot relate the theoretical things that we learn with the applied world, and it's a good book that actually helps you uh, relating to the real world. If you want to go a step further and learn more complicated things, not necessarily the simple machine learning stuff, but really you want to go into the depth of machine learning and neural network and deep neural network and so on, you can read this book, Deep Learning book, by Ian Goodfellow and Ezio Bengio and Aaron Gobil. So these three uh, people have written this book, and many of the chapters are free. In fact, you can go to this link, deeplearningbook.org. In fact, most of the chapters are free. Yeah, you can buy the book though. Is perhaps the best book available on deep learning. It's very theoretical though. You need a strong mathematical background to learn this book. But it's worth reading if you are interested to know how neural networks actually work. It's not just calling sub library and using data. That's fine. It actually works, but knowing what's happening inside the neural network is also important. So it covers a bit of machine learning, statistical modeling, some basic algebra before starting with neural network and deep neural network. So you'll get a good grasp of how deep neural network, or perhaps the most sophisticated machine learning techniques available, has evolved over time. So from basic mathematics to the most sophisticated deep learning. So that's important. That's one book you can. The other one in the neural network and deep learning space is this one, Neural Network and Deep Learning. So it's again a free book. You can go to this website, is on the screen. It's also a good book. It's written in a much simple language. The other one, the one by Ian Goodfellow, is very mathematical or very technical in so to say. But this one is much simpler, or written in a much simpler language, or rather written keeping in mind the target audience as people who are working in industry. They don't have time to do the maths and so on. So it's a pretty good book. So these are some of the books that you will find useful. There are many more, I'm sure. Please uh, write in the comment section if you know more books, and I'm going to put all the links in the description section. So if you want to have a look, please go to the description section and go to the respective websites. You can freely download most of these books. Thank you.